Hey, spiritual fam, welcome to Pranita's Spiritual Lounge, a podcast where we talk about manifesting, healing, astrology, and all the spiritual magic under the sun. I am your spiritual coach, Pranita, and I am here to bring you healing, clarity, and the answers your soul seeks. Hello, spiritual fam. Welcome back to another episode of Pranita's Spiritual Lounge. Hello. How you doing? It's okay if you're not good because you wouldn't be alone. Yeah, I don't know. You can probably tell, okay? People think they can't read auras, but we can all read auras, okay? You can watch my first podcast YouTube video. If you haven't, go do that. And watch this one. My aura is different. And I did like a little test run before this. And it's just because, honestly, you guys, like, I'm not okay. And I think we need to normalize not being okay sometimes and having a rough week or having a lot of heaviness in your heart. Like, it's okay. And I am always one to tell my clients, like, to feel your emotions. Don't suppress them, because when you suppress your emotions, more things will come up, more problems will just surface when you do that. So feel your feelings when they are there and when they are present. And it will allow you to be present in that moment. And so, yeah, I'm not okay, you guys. I'm going to try to keep it together this episode and not cry, because I cried on the podcast a handful of times when it was just going on Spotify and Apple, iTunes, you know what I mean, podcast. But now that we're on YouTube, like, girl, I don't know if I can be out here crying like that. I just don't know. That's a lot. For me, that's a lot for me. But anyways, this week has been rough for me. The state of the world, the things that happened in Israel, the things that are happening right now overseas in Palestine and Israel, I can't. I'm just not okay. Honestly, guys, like, the state of the world is just making me very upset, and it's very heartbreaking, and I'm such an empath, right? So things happen, and we've seen a lot of evil in our life, in our lifetime, sadly. It's just the truth. I knew my mom was going to call me as soon as I started podcasting. Hold on. Ma, I knew you were going to call me as soon as I started podcasting. Why are you crying?
I'm not crying. That's my eye.
Oh, geez. Did you go to the doctor? I don't even remember what I was saying before, so apologies, right? But my ADHD people out there, I'm sure you're good with it. I seem to attract people who are ADHD into my life. My mom is, my best friend is, a lot of my clients are. I don't know if it's my grounding, calming energy that I just attract them to me. And it's fine. Y'all are family to me, okay? And I understand as much as somebody can who is not ADHD what it's like. So I know you guys can handle me going from here to there to here to there. Anyways, I don't remember what I was saying, but we are going to talk about the state of the world and what I've been feeling. And this eclipse, you guys, that we just had, and I'm recording this day you're going to see it, okay? So this eclipse we just had, it was a lot, okay? It's a lot of intensity in the collective energy, and a lot of things coming up for people, a lot of issues, a lot of problems, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of intense emotions, a lot of your karmic cycles being shown to you and very clear to you, anger, frustration, sadness. There's just been an intensity of emotions and things surfacing. And so my mom right now is dealing with some issues with her eyes are like bothering her and strained, and she doesn't even know what it is. So y'all send mom prayers, okay? Send mom prayers and healing vibes and healing energy. But I've just been seeing a lot of things like that coming up for people, just issues within their physical or in their energy, it's just the collective right now, you guys. This eclipse, I wish I could say it was like, it was beautiful, we're in the new earth dimension. That's just like truly like not the case right now. I'm sorry, this is a little bit of a downer, but my purpose in saying all of this is to give the people out there who are not good right now, to give you space to feel like you're not alone, right? Because I think people mix up spirituality and healing and spiritual healers and spiritual teachers and light workers and star seeds, that, you know, the spiritual aspect makes you super happy and it's all love, light, and this and that. But if you are truly in this on the spiritual path, and you know there's an equal side of that, which is, or the opposite side of that, which is a lot of darkness and a lot of heaviness. And so I want to talk about today how to move through the heaviness, because it's destined to happen. It's literally like 1 week you're up, next week you're down. 1 week you're thriving, next week you're like, no, I'm not okay, I'm spiraling. And that's okay, right? Going back to what I was saying, the state of the world right now is just so tough for empaths, for light workers, for earth angels, for people who are just very empathic to God's people, to people hurting, to innocent people being killed. I don't care what religion, what political view, I do not care. I see innocent people being killed and it breaks my heart. Truly. I'm going to keep it together. This is why a lot of empaths, light workers, starseeds, we feel certain aspects in the collective. So you feel things intensely. You can even go back to 2020, okay? Think about how you felt. And I remember feeling very emotionally overwhelmed because I was so connected to the collective, which I always am. That's why I can give energy updates on the collective, because I'm connected to the collective. We all are, but some people are just more tuned in, tapped in, and can understand and read the energy and what it means and what it's about, right? Or you can look into astrology and see how those things are impacting the collective. And we just have this like mixing, like melting pot right now of so many intense things happening in the collective that it's okay to not be okay right now. Like, it's totally okay. And I had to take some time for myself this weekend and just pour into me, because I'm not feeling okay. I was looking into places to donate wherever I could, just, you know, give here and there where I can. I mean, I'm in no ways like a super wealthy woman yet, okay? But I'm going to give where I can, because if God's blessing me, then I need to use that to bless others. That's just how I see it, right? So I'm looking for places to give. And you guys, I literally had a breakdown. And I'm trying to make light of this, but I had a breakdown just from looking at the different foundations and places that you can give money to and what they do to help people. And I was like, there was one that hit me because this is a passion of mine, which is helping people move through their trauma. So it was a place where you can donate, and those people are going to make sure to give free services and therapy and things like that to people who have been through the traumatic experiences of what's happening right now. And it just broke me down, because I know how trauma is, right? That's what I do with my clients. We work through trauma, we move through trauma, and I know how deep rooted and how painful it can be. And I mean, anybody who's been through trauma, you know what it feels like. You know how deeply it hurts. And we have to push it aside to continue to live our lives, because if we stay in it and we don't heal it and things like that, or even sometimes we can tap into it when we feel triggered and things like that. But it's painful. It's so painful. And I feel like the collective is feeling the pain of trauma. And we're seeing just like horrible things in our society. And it's sad. It's sad. And I don't think enough people are willing to sometimes talk about that, because like in America, you know, we're very privileged. If it's not happening here, then sometimes we just turn a blind eye and we're just like, oh, I'll be okay. I'm good. My family's good. We're good. But it's like, I don't know if, like I said, if God's people are hurting, like I'm hurting. Anyways, I just have a heart for people. Obviously, that's why I do the work that I do. That's why I work with women. That's why down the line, I want to start a foundation and work with children. It's in my heart. And so witnessing like evil firsthand, it's freaking hard for me. I'm tough, but I'm also very sensitive. And I mean, I'm empathic. I'm tuned in. I feel everything so intensely. And so when I feel joy, I'm on 10, y'all. When I feel happiness and joy, like anyone who's been around me or a client of mine, like y'all know when I'm up here, like I'm up here. You know what I mean? Like I be thriving. And I be having a good time and living my life. But when I'm down here, like I feel it just as intensely. And it's tough. And that's where I feel like I've been this weekend. And I've just been trying to move through it the best that I can. So if you're feeling the intensity of, hold up, I feel like I literally have to have this mic in my mouth. Because if I'm too far away, then it like echoes a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah. If you're feeling the intensity of this energy, I want to give you some tips and tricks, some things that I wish I knew a long time ago on how to move through and transmute very heavy, dense, dark energy. Okay? Hold on, gotta get out my handy dandy notebook. What is that from? Blue's Clues? Blue's Clues? I think so. We're all feeling this collective energy in one way or another. So whether you're feeling the intensity in the sadness and the trauma that's lingering in the collective right now, or you're feeling anger, or you're feeling your karmic ties like coming up again, your karmic situations like coming to the surface, and it's like 313. Yeah, I just feel a sense of like just not so great energy, like bad energy, right? And if you're seeing that and experiencing it in your world in one way or another, one of the first things to try and to do, and this is always top of the list for me, right? You have to prioritize your spiritual practices. So what is that for you? How do you regulate your nervous system when things are going crazy? You want to know something interesting too? I listened back to, obviously when I was editing the last podcast episode, and I was editing that, I literally was thinking to myself, like, this is happening right now. So it was 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I was calling things already. I literally said in that episode that we are going to start seeing a lot of scary things in our 3D world. Here we are, a couple weeks later. This is where we are. And I remember giving sort of like, and that's why my higher self just comes in, my guides. I'm a divine channel. I'm just giving the messages as I'm receiving it. But I remember I was saying in that episode that we have to regulate our nervous system and we have to learn how to deal with these heavier, dense emotions and transmute this energy and to find peace at the end of the day. And so easier said than done, but one way to do so is to prioritize your spiritual practices. So what is that for you? Is it meditating? Is it breath work? Is it taking spiritual baths? Which is just like, I love taking spiritual baths because it really helps to transmute heavy energy for me. So if you have a lot of water in your chart, or if you have a lot of earth in your chart, okay, it can also be good because you're probably used to, like, your go-to thing is like, I'm going to go ground. I'm going to go be outside, which can be very great and is also helpful. But sometimes you need to use a different sort of element to help you move through it, to help shift the energy out of your body, right? All of the wounding and the trauma that we're holding on to, like, we know, like, that gets trapped in your body. So you have to transmute it. You have to move it through you, right? And so prioritize those spiritual practices. The next thing that I would recommend is pay attention to what you're eating and pay attention to what your body is telling you to eat, because I always know when I'm moving through heavy, dense energy, sometimes my body will tell me to eat a lot. Like all of a sudden I'll just be like ravenous and I'm hungry and I want everything, right? So sometimes my my intuition will be telling me to eat a lot of heavy, dense energy, because the denseness will help to bring you more into your body and bring you out of your head, right? Because when we're in this collective energy and we're feeling a lot of the intensity and, you know, the cycling of thoughts and the anxiety and the worry, we're in our head. And what we need to do is be in our body. And that's why people always say ground your energy, so you can be in your body and you can be in the present moment. Because when you're in the present moment, you're not too focused on the future. When you're constantly thinking about the future, then you're going to be in anxiety and worry. When you're constantly thinking about the past, you're going to be in depression and sadness. So when you're in the present moment, it's hard for you to be in either one of those emotional states. So that's why people say ground, be in your body, be in the present moment. And so if you can be outside, if you can find another way, I was talking to one of my friends today, she told me, or she recommended that I get like an adult coloring book, which 100% I already have one actually. And I was like, oh yeah, I should just pull it out and start coloring and stuff like that, because I'm feeling like I need to use everything, every tool in my toolbox right now. So I'm giving you guys some of my go-tos that you can also use. So coloring book, whatever you can do to be in your present moment. Sometimes watching TV isn't good, because if you're watching TV, you can still be in your head. You can still be thinking and thinking and thinking, unless it's something that really has your attention. And so when it comes to foods and taking care of your body in that way, try to eat whole foods, so not processed foods at this time. And this will just make it easier for your body to move through those heavier emotions, right? To process, to release, to transmute. And of course, drink your water. That's like an always. That's a given. That's an always. Drink your water. But especially when we are having very intense collective energy to move through. So when we have like full moons, when we have eclipses like we just had this weekend, when we are having chaos in the world, okay, like wars happening and things like that, drink your water. And especially, this was a point that my guides made very clear to me today, which was you are a light worker, right? So if you guys have heard that terminology, I mean, if you're listening to this, then you probably already know what I'm talking about. But light workers are here to hold a special vibration to help the collective hold a specific frequency, right? So we can shift into that Christ consciousness as a collective, as a whole. Light workers, like we have a job. We have a job to hold the light. And my guides were kind of saying to me, you're transmuting heavy energy right now. That's why you're feeling overwhelmed emotionally. Like, that's why you're feeling the heaviness of the collective so much, because you are doing your job. You're transmuting the darkness to light. That's what I'm here to do. And so if you relate to that light worker kind of energy title, Christ consciousness being, then you know that you have a job. You can call it grid work if you want to call it that, where whatever location that you have been called to on your divine path, you're holding a frequency there for the collective. It's part of your job here. And I kind of like, my guides are funny because I feel like the message I got today was like, they don't call them light workers for nothing. It's because you're doing work. And I wish more people understood that. When like spiritual people just get sick because of heavy energy they're holding on to. That's why I believe people have certain like illnesses and diseases and autoimmune diseases. And I'm not the first person to say this. There's been plenty of science and stuff like that to back this. But a lot of that has to do with your healing, has to do with the energy that is trapped in your tissues in your body. And so that's why I feel like healing and learning these spiritual things and doing these spiritual practices is the thing that's going to lead you to your ultimate freedom and lead you to better health at the end of the day. Okay, the next thing would be prioritize self-care. When there's a lot going on around you, sometimes it's best for you to spend some time to yourself and to fill up your own cup, right? So how can you fill up your own cup? You need to maybe do things that make you happy. Like, what do you enjoy? Like today and this weekend, I spent time with some friends, and then I also, which was great, it was a great distraction from me being in my head and thinking about everything that I'm thinking about right now. And it was a good distraction for me to just laugh and have a good time. And then What else did I do this weekend? Oh, and then I'm podcasting, you guys. This to me feels so aligned on my journey. Podcasting is my thing. I said this in the last episode too, and I'm just going to say it over and over again because it's my truth. I feel so aligned when I'm sharing, when I'm teaching, when I'm doing different spiritual practices, when I'm helping my clients. I just feel aligned with who I'm supposed to be. And I think it's really interesting that my guides were really pushing me to start podcasting, like on YouTube, and obviously start the podcast back up, right? I was getting such a push recently, and I feel like it's because the collective needs information. The collective, more people are going to be waking up, because when the state of the world goes to crap, more people wake up. Just like with 2020 is the same thing. More people were waking up. So right now people are going to start waking up again. And so whatever that wave of people, whoever that wave of people, how do I say this? That wave of people who are awakening right now, who are new to it, they might be searching for a spiritual teacher. They might be searching for a podcast to listen to, for a YouTube to watch. So I have to do my part. Okay. Next thing, to move through the energy, seek clarity, guidance, okay, from spiritual teacher, healer. That's kind of what I was just saying. If you are currently in a moment of chaos, if you are currently in a moment of confusion or dense, heavy energy like this within the collective, or an overwhelming feelings and emotions, whatever it may be for you, I feel like I just got this download too. If you're not feeling it this week, then you might feel it next week. Okay, I just want to say that. Energy moves through the collective in waves. So I am at a peak of the wave right now. And just because I'm feeling it right now, and maybe you're not feeling it yet because you're at the lower part of the wave, does not mean in a couple days you won't be at the peak where I just was. And then I'll be coming down from the wave. So that's how energy moves through the collective. So you know how sometimes like one week your friend is feeling one way, and then the next week you were like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling exactly the same that you were feeling last week, right? That's how energy moves through the collective. It's in waves. So if you're not feeling something right now, or let's say you're listening to this and you're like, nah, Pranita, I'm thriving, I'm great. Girl, so was I last week. So was I. I was thriving. I literally said to my best friend, how am I feeling this way right now? I was on such a high. Was it last week or the week before that? Maybe the week before last week, but whatever. I was on 10. Y'all, 10. But it's okay, because also the laws of the universe, what goes down must come up. So if I'm at a low right now, it's fine. I'm going to move through it. I'm going to transmute the energy. I'm going to transmute it into light, and then I'm going to go ping right back up. So that's just how things go. You're going to be up and down, especially being a woman, okay, and having hormones and having your period. You're going to be like this. It's just a part of it. Sometimes it's just heavier than other times. No pun intended. Okay. So going back to seeking clarity and guidance from a spiritual teacher, when you are in the midst of whatever emotions or feelings or cycles, patterns that you are in, okay, you don't always see it or recognize it for what it is. And this is why having a spiritual teacher or a healer, having that external outside opinion is very valuable. It's very needed, because sometimes we're in the mess of our own life that we don't even see where the problem's coming from. We don't even see how we're repeating a cycle. We don't even see it because we're in it. And I can use the poop analogy on this one. If some of you guys know this, maybe some of you don't. The poop analogy is sometimes, okay, not sometimes, all the time. You know how when you're in the bathroom and you're going to number 2, and you'll be sitting on your phone, just scrolling, you know what I mean? Just sitting on your phone, just dropping a deuce, okay? And you can sit there and deal with your own smell and your own stank, and you're like, whatever, Like, I'm here, it's my poop, like, it's fine, I can deal with the stink. Someone else walks in the bathroom after you leave and they're like, oh my gosh, what did you eat? It smells like a dead animal in here, right? Okay, so same thing with your healing. When you're in it, you don't see the problem, the patterns, the stank, okay? You don't really see it. You might like notice it a little bit, be like, I'll be fine. Everything's good. But then someone outside of you, a spiritual healer, teacher who's very in tune and aware, is going to listen to the things that you're describing and talking about, and they're going to be able to see it and pick it up. Oh, there's your pattern. Oh, there's your cycle. This is what we need to work on. Okay? And they're going to give you clarity in a way that you want to be able to give to yourself. Just like the poop analogy, okay? They're going to be able to give you that clarity that you would not be able to see or pick up yourself. When you're in it, it's hard to notice it. The last thing that I would recommend when moving through like these heavy, dense energies, okay, the last thing I would recommend is, I feel like this is like maybe 2 in my face. I'm sorry if it's been like that the whole time. Like, what can I do? I'm an imperfect being, but that's okay. Do not underestimate talking it out, okay? Whether that is with a coach, a healer, a therapist, a friend, don't underestimate talking it out. Talking is so healing to the spirit, you guys. Talking is so healing. When you are able, and this is a thing that I always encourage people to do, when you are able to pinpoint that deep-rooted, deep-seated thought that is just so painful, even saying it makes you cry, that's the thing you need to say. That's the thing you need to let out. That's the thing that has been round and round in your head on repeat that you need to say out loud, right? So right now my intuition is saying a lot of women will do this with men, women, whatever. I'm just saying women because I normally work with women, but anything. A human being, right? You could maybe have a thought in your mind that's been on repeat for a long time, like, no one will ever love me. That could be something that's been in your mind, but you've never said it out loud because, God forbid, it's a scary thing to say out loud. It's a scary thing to admit. It's embarrassing to admit. It's sad to admit out loud, right? You could have whatever that thought is for you. For me, I'm just going to be honest. My thought process around love and relationships, especially for my abandonment wounds, was I never felt chosen. And the first time I said that out loud, I broke down crying. The first time I said it out loud, I never felt chosen by a man. And that was why any guy who showed me the slightest bit of attention, I would welcome them with open arms, whether I really liked them or not. I was like, whatever, he likes me, so I guess I'll like him too, which was just my deep-rooted, pattern or cycle around my abandonment wounds that I needed to face and heal. So whatever that thought is for you, right? Whatever that deep-rooted phrase is, like I just said, I've never been chosen, or no one's ever chosen me, or I don't really think I'm attractive, or I'm ashamed to my family, or I don't think I'll ever amount to anything in my life. We all have things like that. And maybe some of you have been lucky enough to figure out what that is for you, but some people maybe have not taken out the time to dive deep into that to figure out what that is. But whatever that is, you guys, it's so freeing to get it off of your chest. It's so freeing to just actually say it out loud and let it out. And here's the thing, when you say it out loud, it's not as scary anymore. It gives it less power. And that's why I always say to people, do not underestimate talking out your feelings and emotions, because as soon as you actually say what you're feeling, it gives it less power in your mind. And that's where we tend to spiral, and that's where we tend to hold a lot of these things. It's just on loop in our subconscious mind. Reach out to somebody and talk to people. I've been talking to my best friend all weekend. I've been talking to my mom all weekend just about how I'm feeling. Like, I broke down on the phone with my mom yesterday, and I just said to her one of my deep-rooted subconscious thoughts, right? I just can't believe there's such evil in the world, and it's so heartbreaking to see. And I just broke down crying. I was like, this is devastating that this is the world we live in. It's really, and that's a heavy thought, y'all. Like, that's a heavy thought to be in, and that's where I've been this weekend, right? And my mom's like, you can't take on everything yourself. And I'm like, I know, I just have a heart for people and to help people. And she's like, well, that's probably why, you're going down the path that you are, and you're probably going to do more down the line, which is totally my goal, to do more. And I think I was annoyed too, if I'm being honest. If I'm being honest, I was annoyed that I could only give so much, which sounds so crazy. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can only give $30. This is devastating. Needless to say, like, I always try to give where I can, but that's just making light of it. But it makes me mad, y'all. Like, gosh, like, if I was Bill Gates, man, the millions that I would give away. Okay. Anyways, you guys, the point of all this is you're not alone, and it's okay to not be okay. If you're not feeling this energy this week, you might, or if you felt it last week and then you're out of it now and you have clarity now, whichever side of the wave you're on, just know you're not alone. You will receive clarity from this, from all of the things that are surfacing, especially with this eclipse just coming and going. Things are going to just be a lot more clear of where you actually need to go, of what you actually need to be putting your time and energy into, and what's actually important. Because I think that's the other thing that's a collective theme, is putting things in perspective on what's actually important and what actually matters. And that's kind of where we're going as a collective, which I think is a beautiful thing. So lean into that. Lean into whatever that is for you. For me, it's doing things like this. It's doing podcasting. It's working with women. It's working with children, giving to people in need, people who need just some light and some care and some prayer. Oh, which reminds me, pray for peace. That's where we at right now, fam. Like, y'all, I lit a candle this weekend. I prayed for people. I prayed for the state of the world. So y'all, put your prayers out there. Even if you don't believe in God, pray. Whatever you believe in, pray. Okay, pray for peace, you guys, because woo. Okay, I'm gonna end on a light note. I currently am closed for one-on-one coaching. Your girl's booked up to the end of the year, which is a beautiful thing and a good thing. But if you're looking for just a one-off session here or there, let me know. Send me a DM, message me. I will put in the description of this basically how you can book a session with me and things like that. Yeah, you guys, so we're on the tubes. We've launched it. We're on the YouTubes. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys share the podcast. How about this? If you got anything out of this, like the video and share it with somebody, please. Because I'm just trying to spread light and knowledge and healing over here. So let's start a revolution. Let's start a revolution of just peace and love and unity and being there for one another. Okay? Okay. All right. If no one has told you yet today, I'm here to tell you, I love you. Bye. Who am I, a YouTuber or something?